adults after that. So they have not experienced what the old folks have experienced. And also, you must also realize the fact that South Africa as a country, as it stands now, has problems. They have not been able to leave the apartheid system behind. Even amongst themselves as blacks, you know, then we have the Coloureds, then we have all manner of segregations. So at the end of it, you realize that they themselves are suffering. The poverty is still there. Poverty, unemployment, and all that is still there. Drug abuse, drug use is still there. You understand? HIV, very prominent. Just tells you that this is a country that by itself is just pockets of places, probably in a small area of Johannesburg, developed. This place developed. You understand? But the blacks and the youth are still suffering because they did not get any proper education. Unlike us. If you look at Ghana, you go across to the regions, you see some form of development. You see that there's at least some attempt at education. A lot of people are educated. At least we can do a few things. But in South Africa, it's not like that. Majority of them are illiterates.
So why are they not venting their anger on the white people?
That is it. So for them, you're like us. The mentality of superiority in the white is what is keeping them from attacking the whites. So you see them bring the whites together and say, don't take black people. You get me? Don't take black people. And then you ask yourself, in other countries, they are chasing away Chinese. They are chasing, in European countries, they are chasing away the Chinese. They are chasing away the, whatever you call them, all these Asian people. They are chasing them away, even people from the European Union. You know, Poland, and they go, when they go to UK, people are sacking them. So you realize that the superiority thing that is within the white race for them is such that they cannot chase the white people. It is us. Why is it that you have come and you are looking this way? You are living better than me in my own country. You are eating better than me. And we as freed people long before them, we have seen the good life. A Ghanaian goes to South Africa and probably wants to live in a good place because in you back home you live in a decent accommodation. Back home your kids go to a school that you feel it's okay. So you get to that community, you're trying to make good whatever is there. So you take hairdressing, those are things that you don't do. So I have brought something to do. You understand? And I'm doing it. But they don't understand. They don't understand. Their governments have failed them. The governments have failed them. Meanwhile, the government is weak. The government is weak. There is a South African black man as president of South Africa. Is he the one in charge of the economy of South Africa? No. The economy and everything else that is there is still with the white folks. So they are not even able to look after their own, and that's how come they vent their anger on us. And like I said, I don't blame them because they have not been educated. It's time for us to educate them. You know, South Africa must start to play the old clips for them to know the African freedom fighters. As I was coming here this morning, and I got to the airport, and I was telling my ward that, I said, you see, this area used to be the International Students Hostel. This was a place that you would find South African students. You find Malawians, you find Ugandans, Zimbabweans. Everybody ran to Ghana. This was the safe haven, and we used our money. So when I read that the president had introduced the e-visa, for instance, I was angry. I said, no, we should be charging them now because they don't seem to be appreciating what we are doing. Honestly,
yeah.
You understand? At the end of the day, it's always Ghana bending backwards all the time. It's us. We recognize the fact for Pan-Africanism. We recognize the fact for free trade amongst Africans. We recognize the fact and we understand the protocols. But if other people are not understanding our protocols, there's no reason why we should do that. Why am I saying it? Because we have SADC. SADC is South Africa, the rest of them, Lesotho, they have their own community, development community. They do things to suit themselves. Then you have the East African bloc. They also do things to suit themselves.
Then we have,
that's it, and the Sahel. Then we have ECOWAS. That is our baby. That's why we should be concerned with ECOWAS. Because at the end of the day, look at the brouhaha that came even in Zambia with our president and all that before we had to do some media stuff, you know, social media war, and it came. Those people out there are more inclined to work with their own communities than us. Facts. So why should we be giving them free? What are they giving us free?
But does it not defeat the purpose of the African integration?
That is what I'm saying, that we seem to be the one. It's like Ghana is the only country that is fighting for African integration. It's like Ghana. The rest don't care. We are fighting for African integration. We are fighting for Pan-Africanism. You understand? We live it. We open our arms and accept them.
That.
You see, we demonstrate with passion the belief in all of us. That whole concept of Africa must unite, the unity. We all believe in it, but do the others believe in it? No. So if we have opened our borders, people are staying here. People from other countries are staying here. We don't go chasing them all the time. Once in a while, you find our traders, attacking Nigerians and other things. But we don't even go to the extremes. But then I am saying, why should we give them freebies? It is our taxpayers' money that we use for all these things. And they don't respect us when we go to their countries. Why should we be giving them free? They should come and pay and enter.
Okay. Thank you very much, Auntie Ro. Let me take your view. Let me read this message. I think we'll be closing shortly. This one says that Ohima, I think the flooding menace in Accra and other parts of the country has become a hydra-headed issue. A hydra-headed issue. That transcends excessive government. I can largely blame it on lack of planning and being proactive. Ohima, I am worried that the NPP is about to plunge this country into chaos. If Salam Mustafa and Gao senior members of the NPP can say they will weaponize their base and burn the headquarters of the NDC, and the police and the Attorney General are looking on concerned, Avenue Marking slapped the police officer and is walking free. Who bondo? I am highly disappointed in the Attorney General, Ayine. Charles Echampo, Sefi. Thank you, Charles, for your concern and submission. I'm going to take Felicity's submission on the xenophobic attacks and this subject.
So first of all, it's an honor to sit on Pan-African TV as a Pan-Africanist.
Yeah.
Working for a president who's also Pan-Africanist.
Yeah.
So when first of all, I condemn the xenophobic attacks, but I don't want to call them xenophobic because what they really are Afrophobic attacks, because you don't see them going after anybody who is non-black or of African descent. I've seen engagements they've had with people who look Indian, and they're very respectful, and they're not sacking them. They're rather like pleading and having conversations with them, as opposed to the kind of attitudes I see them show towards people who are of African descent. So it's Afrophobia, it's not even xenophobia. I condemn it completely. It's a betrayal of the African dream. It's a betrayal of the ideals of Ubuntu, which is I am because you are. South Africa needs to be ashamed. And the government is failing in their duty of care to the citizens of other African countries who are within their jurisdiction. Yeah. They're not protecting them enough. They've not taken any decisive action. But the reality is, people walking up to others and harassing them is a crime. These are crimes. So people need to be held accountable for these crimes. They need to be arrested. They need to be arraigned before courts. That's what needs to happen. So when it's not happening, your silence or pleading or those soft words that you're telling us, oh, we don't support it. But if you don't hold the people who are doing the wrong things accountable, all you're saying to others is you're allowed to go ahead and do more. And that's why we've seen violent attacks. They've been increasing in their, in their intensity, because as they started with conversations, and now they're locking up stores, they're attacking people. It's going to continue. Soon they're going to kill someone, because nothing is being done to stop them. What are the South African authorities doing? I'm sorry, at what point did average South Africans become immigration officers to go around asking people, where are your papers? What training do they have to even be checking people's documents to verify whether they're correct, they're the right thing? How do they know? As an unemployed person sitting at home, you leave your house, like myself, I can't go and check anyone's documents. What is the process?
They don't even know that.
What is the process?
You didn't hear them. They said the police are not many. They are more than the police.
No, but it's not even the police's job to check people's immigration documents. It's the job of immigration. And if immigration is saying, it's not for them to say there's not enough, they should go and they should employ more people. It's
No certificate.
And it's not just, it's not just about Ghanaians. Nigerians have been the main target. Of course, they have the numbers. But Zambia, but you're talking earlier about, the South African, but Zambians, Zimbabweans, Zimbabwe is right next door. And they're also suffering same. So isn't that just because they're closer to them or they have this SADC?
Tanzania, yes.
It doesn't mean that they're safer, they're in a better position than us. And it's not for us to also look at the actions or the inactions or the ills of South Africa and say we're going to adopt same. Because the reality is Ghana has always led the way. From Kwame, we've always led the way when it comes to African unity. This is not the time for us to say we're not going to do that any longer because South Africa is failing in what they need to do. We're not going to do that. The thing is, when we talk about, getting e-visas, being able to travel across Africa, it's about tourism, which brings income to the country. It's about people being able to invest. Look at the number of people that MTN employs in Ghana. ShopRite, they've left now, but when ShopRite was here, how many people were they employing? How much taxes were they paying? There's so many other South African companies, Standard Chartered, across the country. How many people are they employing? These are people, this is bringing in money. So it's not just about, we're losing money, but when you waive visas, studies have shown that when you waive visas, it brings in more tourism, for example. The numbers definitely go up. Because that's usually the visa fees and even the process can sometimes be cumbersome, which puts people off.
Deters people from,
tourism brought in $4 billion in 2024. So if we want the numbers to go up, we need to take decisive actions in order for that to happen. And these are the kind of things that our president and our foreign affairs minister are working arduously.
How many came from South Africa?
No,
I'm only asking.
Yes, but the thing is, it's e-visas for people
For all.
Yes.
But I'm just saying that
So we don't. But we don't. But I spoke about MTN, and so that's creating jobs. So if right now we start.
Now Ghanaians are having issues with MTN.
No, MTN is a problem.
Ghanaians are having issues.
Not this Ghanaian. I have a problem.
Yeah.
When I saw today that they're going to be charging us for moving money
transfer
0.57.
0.75.
It is nonsense. And Bank of Ghana is actually going to issue a statement for them to report. They don't have a right to do that. There was no communication to that effect.
Without consulting the government.
Yes.
And even the ministry that oversees
and so on.
That's what I'm saying.
the telcos.
The South African, yes.
DSTV is giving us a raw deal. MTN is giving us a raw deal. Everybody else comes here and gives us a raw deal. They look down on us in our own country. And yet we sit and we say because of Pan-Africanism, we will not deal with them. We deal with them the same way.
These are companies.
These are companies, so what?
And they have freedom of you're allowed to when it comes to charges. But even MTN in I think was it 2023, Ursula was Minister of Communication. She put in some measures in order for them to not be able to have that monopoly power that they held. They had to reduce their prices and cut up some. So there has been measures have been taken.
Even recently, some judge
with DSTV, he was with DSTV. There was a lot of engagement with MTN. So it's not that nothing is being done.
No police. What is giving them that?
Can more be done? Yes. Is it being worked on? Absolutely is. Like I said with the Bank of Ghana today, MTN only made that release last night.
Yesterday.
That's why I want Ghanaians, you see, we are not going to talk about this Daman because no matter the situation.
It's a Ghanaian.
It's a Ghanaian. That's where I'm coming from. It's not about him being.
I would like you to conclude on
the
your.
reality is that for a lot of the young South Africans, other Africans have become the scapegoats for their problems. They're not able to turn their eyes on the government who has failed to provide jobs, failed to provide
and
the economic gains that South Africa has made over the years has not benefited the blacks. And they're not able, and the reason why the government is silent is because they know they haven't done their job and they're happy that somebody else is being blamed. So they benefit.
But that is not fair.
It's not fair, but they benefit from their silence is because if the people are educated and realize actually the Africans are not our problem, it's our government who has failed to deliver on their promises, they're going to turn their eyes towards them. So for them, it's we're happy that right now you focus on somebody else, so you don't bring. And they're about to have an election. So anytime every election cycle, this thing comes back again because they need them to not blame them and hold them accountable. Exactly. So it's very deliberate. This isn't something that just came about. People are being paid for this to happen. It's orchestrated and it's being paid for.
Right. Right. Thank you so much. I think I will just gloss over the launching of the e-visa, since it's sort of connected to this. And so just conclude on your piece. So just conclude on your piece. Just make yes, just reiterate that, and then we can take leave of you.
I have said my bit on it.
Yeah. But since it's closely related to this subject, I think
I've just listened to Felicity, which is, one of the basic things is, yes, tourism brings in. I was just asking how many South Africans came. We even go to South Africa more than the South Africans come here. You understand? Because there's so many tour agencies that are taking on. You go through South Africa. So we go to South Africa, we spend our money there, and that kind of thing. Not many South Africans come, because for them, South Africa is the world. You understand? A lot of them don't even know the next door. So for them, South Africa is the world. But I'm just saying that it's about time we also started thinking about ourselves. This is what, because at the end of the day, it is people's taxes that make things happen. And then you must satisfy your country's needs also before you look beyond that. So if we're going to be giving e-visas for people who do not appreciate that we are making sacrifices, why should we do that? And I'm asking again, I'm asking because we need, look at the floods. Look at all those things. We need kudi. We need money.
Yes, but Ghanaians were very happy. Ghanaians jubilated when they did the visa-free to South Africa. There was Ghanaian people who were very happy.
Because they thought that they would go.
Are happy, but they're happy to travel to South Africa.
Because they thought it was a nice place to be.
So it's in the interest of Ghanaians. It's not that it's out of the interest of Ghanaians.
Okay, we are doing that.
Ghanaians also benefit
from
from this.
Are the other countries reciprocating? Are the other countries also giving us free visa?
I think, you see, Auntie Rhoda, I want us to look at the benefits that both sides will get.
Yes.
If it's just going to be one-sided,
if it's one-sided, why should it be? Why should we always be the ones carrying it?
If someone is coming to your country and they don't have to pay for a visa, when they come, they spend money. That money goes into your coffers. So so this idea that just because it's visa-free, that means the country doesn't benefit at all. The minute the person enters the country, even the tax they pay the airplane tax, that's the airline, there's a levy that goes to the country. When they come in, everywhere they spend money.
All those
they're going to pay VAT. They're going to go to a restaurant. They're going to stay in a hotel. All of that money comes to Ghana. So this idea that it's not benefiting Ghanaians, or Ghanaians are not going to benefit financially.
It is a good idea, but maybe we are still battling when it comes to mobilizing resources.
I'm just saying.
Yes, but we're not using our money. The thing is, if a $200 visa fee, but to get to Ghana, you're going to spend more than that. Even if you're spending 3 days, you're going to spend more than $250. So that
visa fee has been waived off, and we're looking at other avenues through which revenue mobilization can take place. Is that what the case is?
No, as the minute the person comes to the country, they're going to spend more. So we're not looking at other avenues. There's a reality that if it's visa free, the person gets into your country, they're going to be paying. The money is going into your pocket straight away. From the minute they enter your country, you're going to make money from them. So it's not that we're looking at other avenues or we're going to search for avenues. It's a very simple equation.
It's a very, very simple equation. So for me, we are looking for ways and means of at least getting some kind of money, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we decide to say, visa free, you can come in. What are we doing about our hotel rates, our accommodation rates, our restaurant rates? That alone, people come one way, they don't come again. Because when you're traveling, one of the basic things that you're looking for is accommodation that is cheap, where you can go and get a good meal for cheap. You understand? And stuff like that. But Ghana happens to be one of the most expensive, or Accra, one of the most expensive cities to live in.
No, it's not just Accra again, no.
Yes, even everywhere. So what are you doing, knowing that you're from the tourism? What are you looking at to kind of like balance the e-visa that we're giving for them to come, and being able to retain them when they come and not leave?
Well, first of all, there's options. You don't have to stay at Kempinski when you come to Ghana. There's a price range for everybody.
It's not a Kempinski.
Even the ordinary places.
It's expensive.
No, but even it's quite expensive. Yes, absolutely. Are there options for everybody? You don't have, like I said, you don't have to go to the most premium places to get to eat food. There's options for food which are reasonable, moderately priced in the If we look at Accra's pricing,
No,
there's food for 10 cities, there's 20 cities, there's 30 cities, there's 500 cities, there's 1,000 cities. Bottom the betre.
So the person who can, come and stay in Kempinski cannot pay for e-visa.
What the paying taxes in Kempinski, they're buying food. No,
we have a problem with the e-visa.
Yes, no, you have a problem with this. The reality is that people, this thing that we've done on AU Day, the significance of it is that we're saying that Ghana is open to people of all African descent. Yes, but we're even more open now. The thing is, visa fees have been a real barrier for people coming to the. Yes, not for you. You might not see anything. People come.
To Ghana.
How much are we charging?
Sometimes students, young people. It's not just about.
We can wait for students.
It's not just about people who have the most money. It's about young people who also want to travel. These are real. Sometimes these
explore.
These are real barriers for them. So it's not that it's a real complaint that people have made regarding what happens with the visas. Even the process. It's not just about the e-visa. Is also about the simplicity of the process. The simplicity of the process that has also been that's also one of the things which is being curbed with this the introduction of the e-visa. And look, it's not just about Africans, people from Jamaica, the Caribbean, the diasporans who want to. Yes, we even did citizenship for people of the diaspora. Yes. No. So on that, if you're okay with us giving them citizenship, of course, then they're not having to pay visa fees. So in what stead are we arguing that they can have citizenship, which means they will not have to ever pay for visa fees again? But now we can't give people visa.
What are we gaining?
What are we gaining from what? Sorry. What are we gaining from what?
If I'm saying the thing for CSWDC was give to give.
Isn't it? So I think if we're going to gain significantly from what we are giving now, then there's no problem. Because I was even thinking, if you're complaining about students, students cannot afford. We can start from that. But you see, some people are taking advantage of us too much. Now, if you're saying that maybe you don't have to go to Kempinski or the whole travel from maybe another country coming to Ghana to come and want to buy wachi at the roadside.
People do.
Where my dear.
People do. Like people go to even Thailand. People even go to Thailand and they go backpacking. And they stay in hostels or motels, and there's 10 in the room. This is something that happens across the world. Travel should not be something should only be focused on rich people. Everybody should have the opportunity to explore the world. You're talking about South Africans being illiterate, being uneducated. It's when you travel. That's also part of the way to be educated, because sometimes they have certain views on people from certain countries. So when they get to that country and they say, "Oh, this is what it looks like. This is what the people are like," you put a human face to your views about that country. People live abroad in Europe, in America, and they think that we all live on trees in Africa. They come in, they're like, "Oh wow, you people don't live on trees."
When you talk about hotels,
yes.
Then if we are talking about maybe e-visas, want to encourage a special student to come in. What preparation have we made? I've been to Saudi Arabia on so many occasions, and if you go to the Arab, you have hotels that have 4 in the room.
Yeah.
Which is very moderate. Very, very moderate. So that is how come, even at first, it was just during the Hajj that you see floods of Muslims going to Mecca. But now it's throughout the year. Because the hotels are affordable. They are affordable. I went to stay for how many days? A very nice hotel. That maybe if it's in this country, you pay about $200 or $300. The most expensive hotel, as for that one, you just want to walk to the mosque. It's just like from here to the next 2 buildings. That one is expensive, and depending on the peak. So if we want to do something like that, I think let's look at our hostels in this country, hotels in this country, because boosting tourism and what we are getting from tourism, I'm told, it can even change the economy of this country. That we cannot even go, because borrowing, now that we are out of IMF, I'm praying that we don't go back there again at all, because I think we have what it takes to maintain ourselves, develop ourselves, because we have all the God-given resources. That is why I'm for us controlling our natural resources. I remember in the CPP manifesto, one of the CPP manifesto, I think that was when Pakwesi Ndum was our flag bearer. In the manifesto, we stated that if the gold and natural resources are not going to benefit Ghanaians, they should stay in the ground. So if you have Ghanaians championing the cause, being leaders in the extractive industry, I'm for it. Because one, the money will stay here, we will get more of our people being employed, and so on and so forth. So this petition against the president, I don't know where it is coming from, because I watched Ibrahim Mahama when he was talking about how he started and who even encouraged him. He gave recognition to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that it was under his regime that he started this. So I think Ghanaian businessmen, not just Ibrahim Mahama, all Ghanaian, including the McDowns, all of them should be protected. Where they even bring them back on track and protect them so that they will leave whatever they are getting here in the country. That's how we develop. So we build the capacity of our own. Foreign companies will come 5 years, we give them tax exemption. When they finish, they declare bankrupt, and then they sell it to another company who will come for another 5 years, 500 years. They're not paying anything to us. So I am for Ghanaian business.
Right. Yes. So with regards to the launch of the e-visa platform, I think Felicity, who for this this episode will be, speaks on behalf of government, and she is in that space. And yesterday, were you at the event?
No, unfortunately, we had a management meeting.
Right, but perhaps many Ghanaians would love to, understand right now that the rebuttals have died down, to understand the rationale behind this, so that we can conclude on that and have the understanding, and not be thinking that we're too. Ghana is too lenient. We are always wanting to be the cool cat, and just playing safe all the time.
Okay, so if you look at from 2019, right? If you look at the Year of Return campaign, where we were encouraging people of the African diaspora, especially Black Americans, especially, to come back to Ghana, to come and visit, to come and invest. So this is just an extension of that. So now we're saying, okay, we're doing free e-visas for everyone of African descent. It's an extension from 2019, so it's been following. And if people are going to be honest, there's been a lot of Black Americans have come in, not just to stay, they've bought property, they're investing. When they come, I myself in 2019, I used to sell. And I used to sell clothes, and then during that period, I would actually sell a lot of local entrepreneurs even made a lot of money off the back of this Year of Return campaign. And over the years, we've seen increased numbers, increased interest in people coming to Ghana. The money we've earned from tourism has increased year on year. And as you recognize, for example, you look at gold, it takes so much money to extract the processes and sometimes even the damage to the environment. And you look at something like an e-visa, which will, if it can get $4 billion, you can make $4 billion a year from tourism, and that's without even having free visa entry. Why not do more? It's not so many other countries across the world also have similar regimes, and studies have shown that it increases the number of people who come into your country. And when people come into your country, they spend, and that's money that's going directly into the country's coffers. The money is staying there. So this e-visa was not interesting. We're not losing. It's not like, we're giving something, or we're the cool kids, or we're trying to prove a point. It's that we're saying that whilst with the president making a statement that yes, while South Africa other countries are saying you're not welcome here, we are saying you're welcome. And to show you how welcome you are, we're even giving you visa-free entry. That's the point.
Interesting. Right. Thank you so much to my panelists. Auntie Rhoda had to take leave of us because she has other equally important assignments to attend to. And that has been the submissions from AGYEKUM and Felicity. Let me take a few messages and then we can finally wrap up. This one says, the xenophobic attacks in South Africa are barbaric, uncivilized, and utterly unacceptable, to say the least. No human being should be subjected to violence, intimidation, or persecution simply because of their nationality. The international community, the African Union, and all relevant stakeholders must take urgent and decisive steps to address this growing menace before it further undermines African unity and human dignity. This was coming from Daniel from Sandema. Thank you so much, Daniel. This one also says that, good morning, Ohima. What is the existence and the usefulness of the AU? Anyway, I don't blame the South Africans for their Afrophobic attacks, in Felicity's words. This happens when people choose bottles over books. Bibi Musuku. Thank you, Bibi. Kwesi says that the telcos conniving with government to reintroduce e-levy, question mark, because why are all the telcos charging same fee, and why are all starting the implementation on the same date, which is June 1st? Are all these charges going to the banks and the telcos without governments benefiting, question mark? We need to be told the truth. Kwesi Reynolds, Agona, thank you so much, Kwesi, and thank you to all those of you who shared your thoughts and submissions on the show. Due to time, I couldn't take the messages from Facebook, but you know how we do. We love you and we appreciate that you always choose us for compelling and thought-provoking conversations here on the Newspaper Review segment. Let me say thank you to Felicity Nelson. Thank you for joining us. I think you should be coming more. I think you should be coming more often. Today I had my powerhouse here. I love the conversations, very educative as well. AGYEKUM Hamdatu, thank you so much. Please, my dress. Everybody is my witness, so everybody that watched today's episode, it's my witness. But to you for always choosing us, thank you. It's been an amazing episode of the Good Morning Africa show, specifically the Newspaper Review segment with me, Ohima AGYEKUM. Until next time, see you.
Join us on Talk Time for great conversations on Africa's political and socio-economic struggle and how this positively impacts its people. The show brings out the different dimensions of local and international issues. Talk Time with Kwesi Pratt Jr. airs on Saturdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 8 p.m. only on Pan-African Television. Pan-African Television, truly African.
All my days and all my nights.
Baby, my Valentine. Can I hit the making what temperature is? If you leave me a good time, I swear. You are like the oxygen I need to survive, I'll be honest.
I've been saying I love you, babe, but you've been gossiping about me. You know too well. I thought I don't know where you came from, but when you get home, please tell the devil hello.
Ay, mama, shigidi, nakufa, hoy, wikidi, ay, Mama, shigidi, funky, fire, motor, liquid.
I dey talk to you, make you answer the dang banana, baby. Come take your baby.
Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. Shut up and bend over. Let your back do the talking over.
I swear my alcohol. I don't wanna reason bad things no more. I don't wanna go back to where I did before. Make nobody stress me, don't disturb me, cha cha cha. I sip my. I don't wanna reason bad things no more. I don't wanna go back to where I did before. Make nobody stress me, don't disturb me, cha cha cha.
Every nation has a story, every border holds a history, and every decision shapes our world. Each week, we bring together voices from across continents to explore the stories behind culture, diplomacy, politics, and global affairs. Discover Ethiopia's coffee tradition, Angola's artistic expression, Ghana's music beats, and